What is up, my beautiful people out there in social media land? Of course, Tasha Davis here. And, I'm just coming at you guys with, first of all, a video that I haven't done in a super long time, videos at all. But this is a bit of a, just want to make sure that I am communicating to you guys from my heart something that's very important, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, please stay prayed up, okay? Be discerning of the times at hand. There are so many things going on in this world that can serve as a distraction, and a lot of times I think that people maybe get off track or get bogged down in the day-to-day details of life when God is actually speaking to people or trying to speak to people every single day, and it may not be received. I was thinking about something as a prime example, and my husband shared something with me back in 2018, 2019. Was it 17? No, 2018, 2019, that a word that God gave him. And I have to be honest, at the time, I really didn't take it seriously until it actually happened. I'm going to share that with you. But, just a little bit of background about my husband. Oh my gosh, ever since Todd was young, he has been basically flowing in the supernatural, okay? I mean, God has spoken to him with visions, through dreams, seeing angels, angelic beings, and, even, of course, demonic beings as well. I mean, he was, of course, acting in Hollywood, and basically he stopped doing that back in 2000, right when we met, because, he had a vision of basically he was on his way to hell if he would have continued along the path that he was going. And, with seeing, a huge demon, he called me crying, which he doesn't like to talk about, but it was a very traumatic experience and a very serious experience. And, ever since then, he basically has been out of that particular of lifestyle. But, basically every time God gives him a word, it comes to pass. And it's just really want to make sure that people are understanding that God is speaking to people all the time. Like, we're in constant communication with God, whether you realize it or not. And it's really important for us to make sure that we are being discerning of the times, that we are not, again, being bogged down by the details of life, the little nuances of life, all the while missing the word that God is trying to get to us about maybe the bigger picture. And, I remember, or can think about, I should say, different times where Todd has told me that, God had me to speak into somebody's life and, have them to give their life to Christ or whatnot, or just, maybe turn their life around and do X, Y, and Z. And, sometimes what happens is he would get a word from the Lord to that person, and not long after that, the person actually, passes away. So it's almost like it was a one last ditch effort type of thing. So, I mean, God can use anybody basically. And I just want us to make sure that we are staying prayed up, discerning of the times. But back to the word that God gave Todd back in 2018 or so. And it was very simple. And like I said, sometimes it's a simple word and we may miss it, but we have to make sure that we're sharpening our spiritual ear so that we can make sure that when a word is coming across from God, that we hear it. And I mean, this word was so simple, guys. It was very simple. And back in 2018, God told Todd, and he of course shared it with me, and he basically said, while everybody is so enamored and focusing on Trump being in office as president, there is something coming to this, not just nation, but to this world, that is going to basically turn everybody basically upside down, so to speak. And of course, I'm, paraphrasing, but basically he didn't say, he never, he didn't say, oh, a pandemic is coming. He didn't say this illness was coming. But my thing was, when he said it's going to affect the entire world, I was just like, well, what can affect the entire world other than, like the rapture or something, or whatnot. But again, I have to be honest and say that I heard the word and I knew that, God had told him this, but I didn't really take heed to it, so to speak, until, of course, it came to pass. And then I was just looking like, oh my gosh, like this, is affecting the whole entire world. I don't think we're supposed to say the word because they flag your video and stuff, but I don't know if they're still doing that. But, this thing has affected the whole entire world. And I tell you guys, that's not the end. Okay, there are more things that are coming. God is speaking to people. He may speak to you and you may throw it aside as a fluke or something. But hear me clearly, and I just want to be, so genuine with you all. And that is to stay prayed up. That is to, get your life back into alignment with God, with communicating with God on a conscious level, an intentional level. Because again, you're always in communication with God, whether you know it or not. But it's time to get really intentional in this season of life, to where you are taking the time to really make sure that you are not just speaking to God, but also hearing from Him and knowing that you're hearing from Him because you have a relationship with God. And I mean, to hear that, to think about it, like he was like, something is coming. And he kept saying, this is Todd, my husband, he kept saying, he's like, something is coming, something is coming. And I'm just like, well, what could be coming? Of course, and that's not the important thing, is the what necessarily, but it's the word. Okay, the what is not important, it's the word that's important. The word was, hey, something is coming. Be prepared. Prepare yourself. And then from that, the next step that should have been taken, or could have been taken rather, was, okay, how do I prepare for this? Right? How do I prepare for whatever is coming? Lord, show me how to be prepared. So again, it's just that we take action on the word that God is hearing, that God has given us. It could be through another person. It could be directly to you. But we have to take those steps and make sure that, again, we're staying prayed up and asking God. It's so simple. Like, okay, Lord, well, what is the next? What do I need to do to prepare? And I could have, received some things, or, it would have been some downloads that I would have received, but I didn't even ask. So just a word of caution, of advice, of wisdom, and that is to, again, stay prayed up, get in alignment with God. Listen, there could be people in your life, like my husband, who really has been, flowing in the supernatural and hearing things from God. If they say something, take heed. Go to the Father and say, Lord, what does that mean? Ask for more information, okay? So, and thank God, praise God that, of course, that whole thing that happened in 2020 that we're not supposed to talk about or something, we, by the grace of God, were protected. And we saw things that other people went through that we didn't go through, and vice versa or whatnot. But the bottom line is, no matter what, please remember, stay prayed up, give your life to Christ. Make sure that you have a relationship with God. And I know that in these times that can be a little challenging because, maybe you think that church attendance all the time is a relationship with God, and it's really not. Okay, I mean a relationship with God the Father, the Creator, directly. Do you have a relationship with Him? All right. So, again, just wanted to put this out there. It's also time too to step up your prayer life. Stay prayed up, but step up your prayer life. Maybe you're one of the people out here that are saying, hey, I prayed before. I tried praying before. Whenever I pray, God sometimes answers, He sometimes doesn't. He sometimes hears me, He sometimes doesn't. That's not true. So again, I would encourage you to really, again, ask questions. If you're thinking that God sometimes hears you and sometimes doesn't, that's not true. It says it in the word. He always hears us. He always hears us. So don't put it off on God. Check the receiver. Check the receiver. Okay, we are the receiver. So it's something that, there's some type of miscommunication, which all prayer is communication, that we're not understanding. And the word says that in all that getting, get understanding. So again, it's time to step up our prayer lives as well. I think I'm gonna actually do some series of videos about that too, about prayer, because there's a better way to pray. There's an optimal way to pray. And maybe, I'll share some things that you've never heard of. I don't know. Hopefully so. That'll help you to, turn some things around in your life. Like when I learned certain things about prayer that it was just like, oh my gosh, what was I doing this whole time? So anyway, I hope that this has been a blessing to at least one person out there. And if so, that is fine by me. So with lots of love, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.